Well, Ryan, the Aiming Five-Hole podcast is something in common with the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're a little late this week, just like the Leafs' reaction on the Austin Matthews knee-on-knee hit from Gudas.
Yeah, but we didn't fail to back each other up.
No.
We'll talk about this in the end.
Yes.
We'll talk about this in the end. We want to announce a little bit of a format change this week. Our good friend Ron, who we've talked about a bunch of times on this show, has recommended for the non-Habs Leafs fans among our listenership, maybe it would be better, or at least kinder, for us to leave our bloviating about our respective teams until the end of the episode.
Well, there's not a whole lot to talk about the Leafs anymore, so this is really becoming a Habs show. Habs and everybody else.
Habs and everybody else, because you just don't want to talk about the Leafs anymore. You're wearing black.
I'm done. I'm wearing black. Yeah, the funeral's on.
Jeez, sad.
Yeah.
But we do need to, so yes, we'll talk about goings on around the league. The big story in the league this week does, however, involve the Toronto Maple Leafs in the sense that Austin Matthews has a grade 3 MCL tear. I don't know what that means, but it seems like surgery may or may
like
not be necessary.
Tear of the MCL.
Yeah. But
maybe not complete tear, but close to it.
From a knee-on-knee hit by Gudas of the Anaheim Ducks. And
repeat offender.
I have to say, the fact that everybody freaked out right away that he had a phone hearing, not an in-person hearing. And a phone hearing automatically means that the maximum suspension they can give you is 5 games.
But here's my problem with the phone hearing. In some other instances, I understand it. There was no reason to jump to that conclusion that night right away because he was in Toronto, where the player safety group is. So if they had announced it was going to be an in-person hearing, it would have left their ability to make this a bigger suspension.
Yeah, that's the whole point of an in-person hearing, right?
Right, I understand that. But because he was in Toronto, they could have made that decision and left themselves more open than saying, okay, the guy's in Anaheim and I got to drag him to Toronto, right, for in-person. So
it doesn't matter. Like whether it's phone, by the way,
or it could be Zoom.
When it's in person,
Zoom.
It's not actually most of the time an in-person hearing. They offer an in-person hearing because it's more severe. And most of the guys, from what I understand, turn it down. Just do it by phone and take their lumps.
Yes.
But Gudas took his lumps, and they're not a lot of lumps. 5 lumps,
which is ridiculous.
Which is insane. If you look at the replay, you look at it fast, you look at it slow, you look at it somewhere in between. He targeted him with the knee. He realized he was going to miss him, and he stuck the leg out.
Yes,
and went knee on knee.
And the only place he was going to be able to hit him was knee on knee.
Yeah,
it was like obvious. He's dirty. It was a dirty hit, and he has got a record of doing this.
Yeah, there are knee on knee hits that often happen when like one of the two players turns around quickly, and they're just lined up a little offset, and there's nothing that can be done. For example, the kneeing hit that took out Patrick Laine in the preseason last year, where he missed the first 3 months of the season. That wasn't even a penalty, I don't think. It was just sort of an accidental knee-on-knee hit. But Gudas lined him up from about, I want to say 15 to 20 feet away.
Oh, easy.
He went to go play him because Matthews was alone in the slot. And just brutal.
Yeah. I mean, this is the garbage we need to get out of the league. These type of hits, the hits from behind, the vicious stick swinging, we have the hits to the head. These are the things that are creating, when you take a star out of the league like Matthews for 18 games, and all you get for repeat offenders 5 games is completely unacceptable.
Yeah, and by the way,
and the whole
just to level set here, Phil, one of the criteria for the suspension is expressly your past history. So let's go through Mr. Gudas' past history. And intent. Let's go through Mr. Gudas' past history. December 2015. By the way, what were the penalties that you just listed as the ones we have to get out of the game?
Checks to the head, hits from behind, and stick swinging.
Okay, and obviously kneeing. Okay, so this is Mr. Gudas' history. December 2015, illegal check to the head of Mika Zibanejad, 3 games.
Yep.
October 6th, 2016, Illegal hit to the head against Austin Charnick, 6-game suspension. November 2017. Slashing against Matthew Perreault. Now, I don't remember that particular one, but it must have been really bad because for that one, Radko got 10 games.
Right.
So they're ramping up here.
Yes.
In February 19, he took another high-sticking suspension, another one of the hits you say has to get out of the game, to the head of Nikita Kucherov. 2-game suspension. Coming the other direction.
Basically all of the above on him.
Yep. And now, finally, he completed his grand slam by getting a kneeing penalty on Matthews and only getting 5 games with that history.
Yeah.
To me, that's insane.
If there's a Hall of Fame of dirty hits, he's in that Hall of Fame, maybe the first guy in there.
He is right up there, isn't he? I mean, he's like insane. In Matt Cook territory.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's in Matt Cook territory, and he doesn't get the same sort of the same sort of recognition or infamy, I should say, for it, because I honestly don't know why. No. I honestly don't know why. Frankly, I'm glad he plays in the West so that the Canadians don't have to put life and limb at risk to a guy like that.
Yep.
But he's a dirty player, and quite frankly, he should be sitting a minimum of 10, if not 15.
Minimum of 10. It should have been in-person hearing. It should have been a minimum of 10 or longer because of the history. And like I said, all of the above. He has got a track record of playing on the edge and going over that edge way too often. And I'm sorry. I think Perreault and the whole discipline group has gone off the rails. It's just not this one. I think there's been other other instances this year where you shake your head at what's going on, and I think there's a change that needs to be had. And even now, the conversation across the league has been this all since last Thursday when the hit happened. Even Connor McDavid weighed in over the weekend and said, you know what? I understand the system, but sometimes at some point you have to look at the system and look at the process and change the process. I'm not saying it was right or it was wrong, but at some point you got to look at the process and make some changes. And I think this should be the impetus to make that happen in the offseason. I think Perreault has been in that job since 2017. It's time for a change. It's time for someone new to come in to look at this game, look at it, and change how they go about their business, because this was wrong. I don't care if you like Matthews, you don't like Matthews, you like the Leafs, you don't like the Leafs. This was a star player going out because of a intentional dirty hit, and intent and past history should be taken into consideration, and it clearly wasn't in this one. I'm sorry, it wasn't.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And let's just sort of broaden the lens a little bit and zoom out, because you could make the argument that Yevgeny Malkin's suspension for his slash was way too short as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a high stick to the head. He actually came down on the neck.
He two-handed him to the neck. The last time a guy swung something like that at a guy's neck, he had to wear a black hood. I mean, that's like executioner stuff right there.
Crazy. It's crazy.
And that's got to be 10, 15 games minimum as well.
And we've said this, there has to be a bigger deterrent to get these things out of the game, because the things that give hockey a bad name are these type of hits, these type of stick swinging instances. People understand fighting in the game. They might not some people might not like it, but when it's a dirty hit, knee on knee, hitting somebody from behind, stick swinging somebody's head, we got to get rid of this stuff. We got to get rid of it. It's got to go. And you've got to, it has to, I think it has to start at 15 minimum, right? For any of those big ones that can injure. And I think a player going out and being injured for a length of period of time should also be a criteria of the length of the discipline. I'm not saying it should be matched.
People have made that argument before.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily needs to be matched, but I think there needs to be a deterrent to get this out of the game, and there needs to be bigger fines. There needs to be more games lost, and especially someone like Gudas, who is important to that back end and going to be important if they're in the playoffs. Get him out of here and make him pay and make him think about it before he goes and does something stupid to somebody else. Who's next? Right?
Well, think about it this way.
They're going to be playing Edmonton probably in the second round of the playoffs. Yeah. If I'm Connor McDavid, I'm speaking out because this guy's going to be coming after me.
For sure. But think about it this way. Like, the number of suspensions that have been like 2 to 3 games in the last couple of years
It does nothing.
For shoulder hits to the head,
right,
that have arguably been where the intent is arguable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the player could reasonably argue that he was trying to do a shoulder on shoulder hit, but the player
And
turned
missed.
a little, or he missed and he caught him in the jaw or whatever and knocked the guy out. They want that out of the game. They're giving 2 to 3 games for that.
Right.
But it could be intentional. Very well could not be intentional. It's,
Absolutely.
they're suspending you for, hey, you need to be more responsible for how you go.
But I think that's
and
right,
hit people.
I think
and that feels right. But
be.
for Gudas to only get 2 more games,
I know,
for something that was clearly intentional,
stuck his
clearly
knee out.
intentional, and it's like it's an intent to injure. It's not just an intent to do something illegal. It's an intent to injure.
Yes.
Yeah. But just awful. All right. Well, let's leave that alone. Discipline is something that needs to be revisited in the offseason.
And let's hope it does.
I agree with you that maybe Parros' time
is up.
Is past.
Should be up.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yep. You'd think a Princeton grad would have a better sense of what, good incentives for players are. But he's really missed the boat on that.
Type of player Parros was. Is that the right guy you need to be having? I
played pickup with him once.
Did you?
Yeah. I made sure I was not within 10 feet of him at any point in time.
Just on
the odd chance that he just would stop unexpectedly and I would run into him. And then I would run into him. He's a large man. The other guy I played against once, who was not as big, but you didn't want to skate anywhere near him either, was McSorley. Marty McSorley is just unpredictable. You never know what's going to piss him off. So you just pass him the puck, stay out of his way. No. And the other guy that I actually played competitively against in a beer league, from a professional athlete standpoint, who I was not afraid to do anything with this guy, even though he was, 6'3", 6'4", easily 200. Was Alexi Lalas, the U.S. soccer player.
Oh, really? Wow.
And
could he skate?
Very good skater.
Really? Wow.
Very good. Good hockey, but you could tell he played a lot in his youth and just, I guess, soccer took him away.
Yeah.
But Alexi Lalas, sort of a gentle giant. I think he knew he was a better athlete than everybody on the ice and knew that he might accidentally hurt somebody if he played as hard as he could.
That's
so. He was a lovely guy.
Cool.
Good guy to play against. But anyway, Parros. Wow, I really went off on a tangent.
Yeah, that was a bit of a tangent there.
Yeah, I try not to do that often, but man, that one was a. But next thing you know, I could have been talking for 67 minutes on that topic and realized, oh my gosh.
Now,
but anyway,
I know
Parros is done.
Yeah, I think so. And I know we wanted to sort of wait and hold and talk about our Leafs and Habs till the end, but we can get our Leafs out of the way because it's adjacent to this. I think we're going to leapfrog off the discipline and go to who's disciplining the Leafs for the lack of response. I wanted to be in the change room at that intermission and hear something being thrown, the F-bombs being thrown by Berube, being the type of player Berube was, that could not be acceptable to him in the change room. 4 guys on the ice, all skated around after that hit like nothing happened. And you can say that guys because the guys on the ice were Riley, Carlo, Nyes, and Nylander. Yeah, you can excuse maybe Nylander, but maybe not, because still you can't put your own safety up for grabs at this. When a player, your star player and captain, goes out like that on a dirty hit, that guy needs to have something happen to him right away. I don't mean cross-check him over the head or anything like that, but you need to go after him and say, you can't do that to our captain. And you got Carlo on the ice, who is big enough, 6'7". You got Nyes on the ice that could have done something, and Riley on the ice. Those 3 guys should have been on top of him and jumped him, done something. I don't care what you do. I'm not saying you have to hurt the guy, but you have to have a better reaction than skating around like nothing happened. It was complete embarrassment, and it almost is the Leafs season in a microcosm in that moment. Going
just a lack of character,
a lack of at least caring about your fellow teammates, just a lack of will to win and to compete and to drive. It just, in that moment, I'm looking around going, Who's going after this guy? I've seen it less in beer league hockey. In beer league hockey, somebody gets hit badly and you got four guys on top of them. It's just like, come on, this is the
Yeah.
NHL. Your star player just got his knee buckled by a dirty hit and you do nothing. And the problem was the refs jumped in right away and Gudas got escorted off the ice, so nothing could happen. You could say that the Leafs did have a response for the rest of the game because their physicality for the rest of the game did step up and they won the game. Yeah, great. Who cares?
You got to do it in the
But the
moment.
character in the moment was not there, and it just shows the character of the team. And I want to know what's going on in that change room, because if they're going to let that happen to their captain, what's happening in that change room?
Yeah.
Right? They can all say now, "Oh, this is embarrassing. We didn't do it right," but you didn't. So saying it afterwards means nothing. It's hollow. Right now, they're going to play Anaheim again in a couple weeks. I think they play them on the 31st of March
In Anaheim.
In Anaheim. So it'll be interesting to see if Gudas is on the ice, and if it doesn't happen in the first shift, whenever he gets on the ice, someone's got to go after him.
Yeah.
And make
All
him
right.
pay
Well,
for it.
okay. So we spent 15 minutes on this topic. We should probably move on. There's a lot of other things going on around the league, but let's talk about the resurgent Dallas Stars, who find themselves only 3 points back of the juggernaut known as the Colorado Avalanche.
We said after the trade deadline that Dallas might have gotten left behind a little bit. Yes, they got Tyler Myers, but with Kadri coming in, we thought Colorado would wake them up a little bit because they've gone into a bit of sleep mode. And lo and behold, Dallas goes 9-0-1 in their last 10, is playing fantastic hockey, and Ottinger is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, Ottinger said, "Hold my beer," because he's like, he's given up like, I don't know, like 1 goal in March or something like that. I don't know.
Robertson's making team. I know they won the gold medal, but he's almost making team proving a point, going, I should have been on that team, and because he's scoring goals in buckets right now.
But what about Wyatt Johnson?
Wyatt Johnson should have been on Team Canada.
Like, both of them are like, first of all, they each have 36 goals on the season. They have 2 36-goal scorers. That's like, that's Nylander Matthews territory.
Yep.
But what's interesting about them is how top heavy they are. You've got Rantanen at 20 goals. And then you've got, I think, Rupe Hintz at 15. And
Rantanen's hurt right now too, isn't he? He's out.
Yeah. Then you got Rupe Hintz with 15 goals, and I think Jamie Benn has 14. So it's a pretty top heavy team, but that those top 2 lines are crushing it right now, and their defense is playing great. You've got a top 2 of Harley and Heskin, and an all-world goalie in Ottinger going, yeah, Hellebuck was the star of the Olympics, but don't forget about me.
Oh, absolutely.
And this team is going to be really, really dangerous if Ottinger keeps playing like this. I'm sorry, if McKinnon has 50 goals, he might have trouble, putting too many past Ottinger in the playoffs.
And it's going to be a shame that Dallas or Minnesota are going to be gone after the first round. If you assume Colorado is going to lead that division, stay out because they've got a game or two in hand. But Dallas, Minnesota in that first round, that's going to be the round of the first. That's going to be the series of the first round to watch.
We could probably do a whole episode just on that series.
Yeah, it's sort of in Central Division, so it's going to be not too late, not too early. It's going to be great. It's going to sit right in that middle. It's going to be fantastic, fast, big hitting hockey. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it's a shame that they have to play each other in the first round and then play potentially Colorado in the next round.
Yeah.
It's dogfight right there. We've said it all year round. This is going to be we said it last year, this division was the toughest to come out of. It's going to be the toughest division to come out of again.
For sure. For sure. It's interesting. Like, you compare the Central and the Atlantic, and the Central has the top 3 teams in the league. And the Atlantic, once you take out Carolina, has like the next 7.
Yep. It's crazy.
Like, top to bottom, the Atlantic division is insane.
Yeah.
So it's, what would you rather be a part of? Would you rather be one of 3 juggernauts in one division, or would you rather be part of like a logjam of like 7 really good teams?
I think you want to be the logjam because I think it keeps your sharpness, You're playing at a sharper and harder level against more teams.
Yeah.
You need to keep sharp. You need to be playing well. I think that's what's happened to Colorado. They got so far ahead, and they were playing so many bottom feeded teams in the Western Division that they've fallen asleep a little bit here,
Yeah.
and they've got to wake up. And we've seen too many President's Trophy winners fall asleep in the back half of the season
Too
and not,
many. All of them.
yeah, all of them, and not be able to turn it back on for the playoffs. And I hope that, like I said, we've said it a few times now. We hoped Kadri was going to be that spark plug that was going to wake them up again and get them going. And hopefully they can. Hopefully
Yeah.
they can, because they get Dallas and Minnesota are playing. Well, Dallas is playing fantastic hockey. Minnesota has gone in a bit of a lull right now, but again, it's it's going to be fun to watch this down the stretch to see what happens. No one's going to catch the three of them, so the three of them are going to
No.
battle it out in some shape or form in the first two rounds of the playoffs.
Yeah. Although I have to say, there's this really small part of me that wants to see Colorado make the Stanley Cup Finals and then play, I don't know, pick your team, maybe Carolina. Although there are no dicks on Carolina. I'm going to say
Buffalo.
Tampa.
I'm still going to say
I'm going to say
Buffalo.
maybe it'll be Buffalo, but I can't think of any real dicks on Buffalo either. I'm thinking about
It's Buffalo.
I know, but now I'm thinking about Tampa because they have Corey Perry.
Yeah.
But how awesome, funny would it be if Tampa beat Colorado in the Stanley Cup Finals, and while they were in the handshake line, Corey Perry hands Nathan McKinnon another stuffed animal like he got for winning silver at the Olympics.
No, see,
you'd see violence in the handshake line. Violence.
I don't think you can see that happen.
I
but
think
it's the Corey Perry being the Stanley Cup jinx. I
know Tampa's out.
I'm writing off Tampa Bay.
Tampa's a first round exit now.
Maybe they're getting there.
Yeah, maybe they get there,
but they're not winning it. There's just no way.
No, that streak is too long and
It'll
too
be 7.
varied.
Yeah.
Like it's like 7 with what, 6 different teams?
Well, it's 6. He's lost the last 6 Stanley Cup Finals he's been in. This would be
with
the 7th
with 5 different teams, is it?
With 5 different teams.
What are the odds? That's crazy.
Yeah. He lost it twice with Edmonton, once with Dallas, and
once with Montreal.
Once with Montreal, and once with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
No, the guy has no luck, and
no luck.
Why would you bring this guy back to your team? Now, good. He's doing everything we said that Kadri's going to do for Colorado.
It's all culture.
He's that guy, and he knows the team, and God love them. But I don't know.
Absolutely. So now you've got so Dallas is resurgent in the and ascendant in the West.
Yeah.
And you've got Buffalo that just has not slowed down. They're a juggernaut. And they're doing it with good goaltending, not great goaltending. Like their defense is playing really well. I think some of the 2 pickups they made at the deadline are going to really solidify their playoff defense. They're getting scoring from up and down the lineup. It's fantastic to watch. Owen Power I won't say he's playing like a former number 1 draft pick, but at least he's playing like a top 10 pick now and not a bust.
Yep.
I mean, he's really coming into his own.
So does Lindy Ruff jump to the Jack Adams Trophy Award for the Coach of the Year for this back half of the season performance? Another last to first potentially.
I think you got to give him serious consideration.
Who's gonna get this award above him at this point?
Bednar. Maybe
with that team, their team has been a juggernaut from the beginning. Yeah, they've been a great team.
I know, but he's never won a Jack Adams, and he's
the story of Lindy Ruff though, taking his team from last place to, well, they won't be first potentially because they're going to catch Carolina, but I don't know. I think Lindy Ruff is the odds-on favorite right now to win this Jack Adams award.
Yeah,
got to be.
If Anaheim wins the Pacific Division, now granted,
but that's a massive division.
It's the lousiest division.
That division maybe you got to give him some in the playoffs in the East.
That's true.
So I don't know how you give that.
The Pacific Division. I don't know how you
give Quinville that. Yeah, look, he's done a great job with a young team that nobody thought were going to make the playoffs, including the 2 of us. Not that we're experts around the situation.
Well, I thought they were going to have to win. I thought the Ducks, I said this earlier in the season, the Ducks were going to have to win every game 6-5 in order to win. Now, the irony is they've played 2 games against the Canadians in the last 2 weeks. I think 10 goals were scored in each of them or close to it. So, and we'll get to that. But Buffalo, Buffalo and Carolina have to be the 2 Eastern front runners right now.
Yeah. So here's a question mark, because let's take this in a bit of a different stretch. Of the teams in the chase that aren't in the wild card, East and West, let's pose this question to both of us here. Okay. Let's start with the East.
Okay.
If you were have to suggest right now 1 or 2 teams that you think are currently in the playoffs won't be, who would you replace them with? Like, so if you think at the East and you think right now you've got New York, Pittsburgh, Detroit, and the Bruins. And if you wanted to throw Montreal right now in there, I know you got games in hand here, but those 82 and down. And then you got Columbus, Ottawa. Let's just say Columbus and Ottawa. Where do you think this is going to settle out? Do you think either Columbus and Ottawa are going to get in? And if so, who's dropping out?
Detroit.
I think Detroit's dropping out. I think that's a sound pick. I called Detroit to make the playoffs this year, so I don't want to make that. I actually think it's going to be Boston.
Really?
I think Boston's going to drop out.
Okay.
I think they're falling off a little bit here. I'd like to say the Islanders, but Schaefer's just too good. I actually think it could be Pittsburgh, too.
They're both at 81 points, but the problem is the only the Columbus would have to overtake them, put one of those guys in a wild card spot, and they fall out of it.
Yeah, but Columbus has an advantage here over Ottawa because Columbus can catch Pittsburgh and New York, or even be in a wild card spot because they're only 1 point out of a wild card spot, but they're also only 2 points out of a third place in the Metro. Right. Where Ottawa has to catch Montreal, and that's 5 points. That's going to be difficult. Right? Although they could catch Boston.
They could catch Boston, Detroit. Yeah.
3 points back of Boston, but I think that's a longer shot. I think they're playing well right now. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10, which is great. Yeah. They're seemingly caught a bit of on fire and playing well and getting better goaltending. But I think you're right. I think the team that's going to drop out could potentially be Detroit, maybe Boston. But I think so. Who's going in then? Do you think it's Columbus? Or do you think Ottawa's?
I think it's Ottawa. I think Ottawa squeezes in.
Yeah, it's possible. It's one of the teams we both had in the playoffs.
Right. Sorry, so
none of us
to the West.
Columbus. So let's go to the West. So same thing here of the bottom feeders, because now you've got it's really closing up pretty tight here. You got even Nashville at 67 points, tougher, but San Jose, Los Angeles, the Kraken, and and Utah.
Well, I think Seattle. There's a chance Seattle falls out. A decent chance Seattle falls out. They're 4-6-2. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games. Now the problem is the Kings and the Sharks have been barely hotter than that. They're 5-4 and 5-3-1 or whatever.
But look at I said the Kings were going to make the playoffs this year because of the swan song of Kopitar.
Who is now the all-time leading scorer for the LA Kings. It was a really nice moment.
Yes.
Really nice moment for
Dionne.
him and for the Kings.
Yeah. So I actually think they're going to squeak in.
Okay.
I think they're going to be squeaking. I think I agree with you.
I think you want them to them to because then they get the second round.
Something right because they got to send
the second round pick.
My Stanley Cup final pick is just gone.
No, you want them to make the playoffs because then they send a second round pick for Lawton instead of a third round pick.
Yes. And let's go back to that for 1 second. How about that? I know we were talking about the Leafs and Habs at the end. All 3 Leafs that we traded at the trade deadline.
Did they score in their first game?
All of them scored in their first game, and McCann actually scored twice in his first game.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, McCann. McMahon scored twice. Lawton scored in his first 2 games, and Waugh scored in his first game. And he actually scored the tying goal in their game.
Well, there you go.
So,
there you go.
Just wonderful.
All right. So the Kings, you're saying the Kings replace Seattle.
I think they replace Seattle. I think.
All right. I'm going to agree with you because that's
I want the Sharks in there though.
Team.
I want to see the Sharks. I want to see
Celebrini in the playoffs. That kid is a beast. That kid is an absolute beast. He does everything well. Yeah. He fights for pucks along the boards. He's a hustler.
So fun
He's
to
got
watch.
eyes on every side of his head. He's
Yeah.
an incredible passer. He skates like the wind.
Yeah.
Like,
Shoots the puck hard. Everything. He does everything
yeah,
right. Does everything right. How cool is that?
at 19. It's
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. This kid's something super, super special. McDavid and McKinnon have some competition
Yes. Well, we said
for
it during the
for the Hart
Olympic
for the
break
next
is that
10
yeah,
years.
for the Hart, but he's going to challenge them in the next 3 to 5 years for being the face of the league.
Has there ever been a face of the league? This league markets itself so poorly around its star players.
Yeah, I think they've done
There's
a
no
better
such thing
job
as
in
a
the
face
last
of the
few
league.
years. I think they've done a better job of it. It's going to
Yeah.
be a little bit on the Sharks to get into the playoffs, give him some more exposure in a bigger stage, make a run, maybe not to the final, but make a round or two, give him some more exposure. Obviously, the Olympics was such a great leaping off point for him.
Yeah. Well,
But
guess what? Mike Greer's turned that franchise around so fast. I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the playoffs this year. I
yep.
wouldn't, and no later than next year.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
So
they'll
we're at
definitely
30
in next year.
minutes. Should we spend a couple minutes just sort of breaking down the Canadians this week?
Yeah, we should break down the
'Cause I'm
Canadians a little bit
pissed.
because how you feeling? Like you still okay with them no moves at the deadline? Because I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
you gotta be
Yeah.
regretting that a little bit.
No, I'm not regretting it at all. Not
I'm
one
gonna
little
keep
bit.
asking you.
You can keep asking me, but you can. Why don't you throw the goaltender thing at me? Because Fowler's played pretty well the
He
last
played really
two
well.
starts
Yeah.
since he got caught up.
Okay, so
Called
here's
up.
the question. You said months ago, I asked you this question: who was the starter for the playoffs if the started? I think it was a couple months ago before Christmas, before the
Yep.
New Year, and you said Montembeau.
Yeah.
Playoffs start today.
He's
He's not even dressing right now.
he's not dressing.
So
He's not
who's
dressing.
your starter day one? If the playoffs started tomorrow and you were playing Tampa Bay, who are you starting?
I'm going to start Fowler.
Wow. You're going to keep with Dobish as the perennial backup, aren't you?
I think that Fowler is mentally tougher. And now I'm a guy sitting on his couch watching hockey, and half the time I'm watching it on a iPad size screen. So it's very fair for somebody listening.
You're
to
still
this.
at work on the West Coast while they're starting to play.
So it's very, very fair for people to ask, what the hell are you talking about? You don't know anything. And those people are right. But from the body language that they both have after giving up goals,
right,
and the way that Fowler moves around the net to follow the play, he's just calm. And he reacts after a goal calmly.
Yeah.
Dobas always looks like, his dog died after he gives up a goal. And so it's just a hunch. Like, honestly, it's probably a coin toss.
Yeah.
But if I have to pick one, I might go with Fowler.
The Habs have a record of having rookie goaltenders
take them pretty far into the playoffs. And you talking about Dobish sounding or looking like his dog died after goals. I could read people your text messages after the Habs get scored on. They think your dog was dying. Can I pull out my phone and read some of these texts? Well, if it wasn't
almost
for so many shots from the point that just squeak in because they're not clearing out the front of the net because the goalie's too deep in his net. Like, it's like things like that drive me crazy, especially when it's Montembeau, because those goals he can see. At least like Dobish and Fowler.
Do you think he gets back in this year?
No, I don't think he doesn't play again.
So he's done as a Hab then.
I think so. But the Habs have played the Ducks and the Sharks twice in the last 2 weeks each. That's 8 possible points, of which they've successfully recorded 1. That is a tough stretch of very, very loose hockey against teams that like to play loose hockey.
Right.
The way you beat the offensive teams like the Ducks and the Sharks is you clamp down on them and you take your shots, counterpunching when you can. Why is that? Because you're a better coached, you're a more experienced team. Even though you're the youngest team in the league, you're more experienced because you've got these young guys that have been playing 2-3 years. You've been working on this defensive system together for 2 or 3 seasons now. For crying out loud, like, stop with the blind passes up the middle. Stop with, look, it kills me to say anything bad about Lane Hudson, but stop dicking around with the puck at your blue line and giving up odd man rushes the other way.
Right.
Make this, especially in the third period of a game you're tied in.
Well, you
play
say he's a young player. He's trying to make something happen. And you're right. At some point, you have to understand where you are in the game, and the puck's got to go in deep, and you
Yeah.
can't try and
Yeah.
jerk and jive at the blue line
That,
and you give it up to go the other way. You're playing big boy hockey here now. The puck's going the other direction.
yeah. But what I will say from a positive standpoint is like the way that um, I will continue to like the way Kirby Doc is playing, even though his line mates are not sort of taking advantage of the space that he's making for them and the pucks that he's keeping deep and getting out to them. But, and I haven't given this guy enough credit. I've said he's a lot better. I've said he's looking much better. But Juraj Slafkovsky has shown that not only is he the skilled player that I knew he would become, he's becoming the beast that I thought he would become.
He's a big boy.
And his assist on the what was it, the Caulfield goal or the Suzuki goal the other night? I can't remember which one. He stick handled the puck through the neutral zone, like wearing a dude. Yeah. Like literally just wearing a dude on his back, and he's like stick handled the puck one-handed and made a one-handed pass on the backhand that sent in. I think it was Caulfield who went in, shot, and scored. And all I could think to myself was, that is a strong mother clucker. Like, wow, that's the Juraj Slafkovsky I thought we'd be seeing by this point. And he's doing that kind of thing more and more and more. Right. And it's awesome. This dude's going to be a handful for years.
He's going to be a great player. You guys got such a great young core. It's going to be fun to watch. Hopefully they can take out Tampa Bay or whoever they play in the first round of the playoffs.
I'd love to see them win a round or two.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like, if they can avoid a team in the first round, like the Washington Capitals last year that were really big and mean and kind of suited for playoff hockey. Well, like if they could play like Boston, for example, who used to be that way, but are, a little bit more of a sort of play the right way, skilled, like they could win that series. I think they could, by the way, you're not going to, now I'm rambling again. We got to wrap this up. But like after that game we saw last week, no one's going to intimidate either Tampa or Buffalo in a playoff series. No. Both those teams are coming to, throw down if they need to.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of tough teams out there.
I have one more question on the Habs before I let you go. What'd you think of Gallagher getting healthy scratch for the first time in, I think, his career?
In his career.
Is that arresting him
it was
for the
sold,
playoffs?
It was sold as a rest because the Canadians have 2 back-to-backs in 6 days.
It's got a lot of wear and tear on that body.
A lot of wear and tear on that body. He throws himself into every scrum, every play. Like I don't think anybody in the league takes care of himself the way he does, just because his dad, I think, is the strength and conditioning coach.
I didn't know that.
For
the junior teams,
the WHL team, the Giants. What is it, Kelowna? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
One of the whatever WHL Western Hockey League team is the Giants. I think his dad was the strength and conditioning coach, and so he's in insane shape. But he hasn't been as effective lately, and maybe he needs a rest. But even if he doesn't need a rest, when you've got a guy like Alex Texier coming back from injury, now granted he made a pretty decent mistake in the third period, but
you need him in the playoffs because of his tenacity. Who goes out?
That's a really good question.
You don't have to answer.
It's a really good question.
Think about it.
I might have to think about it a little bit because it could involve playing with 6 defensemen.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know. I have to think about that.
Okay.
Anyway, so
what are you looking forward to the next week, though? I know what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to hopefully the Leafs getting back on the tank record so we can have a shot at our top 5 pick. We're only 6 points up on St. Louis, who's currently sitting in that 5 spot. The 3 points we got in the last 2 games kind of hurt us. Mm-hmm. And I know there's a theory between do you tank and try and get the top 5 pick this year with the unfortunate side effect, if we don't get it, we're giving Boston the 6th, 7th, or 8th pick? Or do you win as much you can and give Boston the pick this year, whether it's 9, 10, 11, whatever it is, and get it over with and get back on next year? I think this draft is deep enough. I'd like to see us try and keep it, and I'd like to see us tank it.
Okay. Well, best of luck.
But
What I
I'm
look
looking
forward to, this week, and I actually, this is going to sound facetious, but I think there's a very decent chance that you're going to start hearing this. I think the Toronto media is so frustrated and so bored. They've got nothing to write about anymore. This Gudas thing gave them something to write about for one day. They turned it into 2 days because that's what Toronto journalists do. But I think they're going to start talking about should they trade Austin Matthews in an earnest way.
Oh, they've already started that talk. I've heard some of it already. I think the question mark was before this last 2 games where they tied Buffalo, lost in overtime, and then beating Minnesota last night. The question mark was going to be, do they mercy fire Berube before the end of the season? Because
that's not going to happen.
It might not happen now, but we'll see what happens this next week if they go back in tank mode.
I want to give you something to think about.
What's that?
I want to give you something to think about because the Edmonton Oilers are not going to win the Stanley Cup because of their goaltending this year. So I want to give you something to think about. Connor McDavid traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
It's not going to happen
for Austin Matthews, Easton Cowan, and a first.
If I'm the Leafs, I'd do that in a heartbeat. But why would Edmonton
make that trade?
do that?
You make that trade?
Absolutely for the Leafs. If I'm on the Leafs, I would do it in a heartbeat. But why would Edmonton do that?
Because Connor McDavid tells them trade me.
Yeah, but he because
you can't get your act together.
He doesn't want to be in Toronto. I don't care what you say. I don't think he wants to be in Toronto. He wants to win.
Wow.
I don't think that Toronto right now, the culture in that change room is so bad right now, as bad as it is in Edmonton because of the defensive play and the goaltending. I think that example on Thursday night, the culture in that room is so bad. There's got to be sweeping changes this year. And yeah, maybe they got to move on from Matthews or from Nylander or something. They got sweeping changes has to happen this season. I don't know what it's going to be, but there's got to be sweeping changes. The attitude change in that change room. The culture has to change.
All right. Well, on that note,
it's been fun on the Aiming 5-Hole podcast, and we'll see you next week. And thanks for tuning in. See you later.
Take care, Phil.
Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
Skates cut through the frozen night. Puck drops hard, the crowding night.